Live from historic Kiger Stadium, this is Klamath Falls Gems Baseball. Presented by Avista, Harbor Isle Tennis and Fitness Club, Henry's Roofing and Supply, Herald and News, Holiday Jewelry, Klamath Eye Center, the Oregon State Lottery, Quail Park of Klamath Falls, Rogue Credit Union, Rust, Spires and Pulley LLP, Taco Bell, Super 8, and United Finance. Now for the play-by-play, here's Nick Winstead.
Hello, and welcome to Game 2 of the doubleheader. Kicking off this evening, the Storm took their first game of the series, a 7-5 victory, come from behind win in a hotly contested game. The Storm play 2 runs in the top of the 7th and come away victorious for the first time against the Gems. Brian Hathaway, first pitch called strike, getting his first start on the year. I was talking to him before the game. It's his first start since senior year of high school, but he was ready to roll. First pitch at 6:36 p.m. Over the top, swinging and a miss, strike 2 against Latrell Harris. Quick 0-2 count. Harris will knock out the back end of the batter's box and brush all the chalk away. It's an 0-2 count to the leadoff hitter, Harris. And the sidearm delivery now. Trying to frame it up on the outside is James Mensing. It's ball 1 behind Harris, Dominic Orlando, Zane Gelfman, Connor Fabian, Isaiah Todd Fitzhugh, Connor Martin, Chase Henley, Reed Oster, and Anthony Lim. Hathaway comes set over the top. Fastball up and off the outside edge. 2-2 the count. Hathaway making his 17th appearance on the year. First start, as I mentioned, is thrown 23 2/3 innings and missing just off the outside edge. Runs the count full, so after going up 0-2 in the count, Hathaway fires in 3 misses, trying to get Harris to chase, but no dice. Harris waiting now in the box. The payoff pitch, and it's a leadoff walk drawn by Harris. Not getting the call on the inside part of the plate is Brian Hathaway. Rick Abel, the home plate umpire. Corey Stratton into the field. These two guys flip-flopping from game 1. Number 26, Dominic Orlando, back to playing first base. Hathaway looks and fires. First pitch called strike on the outside edge. 0-1 the count. 1 runner on, no outs in the top of the first. Nick Hermes will be playing second base. Ready, double play depth. He and Hanks, runner goes, and this one is shot into the glove of Walker, and he'll go and tap first base. Double play, a line out, and Harris, who is running on the play, can do nothing but look back at first base as he was much too far to even think about returning. Nice play by Mickey Walker, grabbing that one up off the dirt and just jogging back to the bag. 2 outs. I'll bring up Zane Gelfman. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Huge hack from Gelfman. Hathaway, right foot on third base side of the rubber, leaning in towards Mensing. Sets above the belt. The 0-1. Upstairs, 1-1 the count. Colin Sinkovich at third base to round out the infield. Marzell Brown in left field. Zach Lewandowski in center field, and Hector Hernandez in right. Shadows just about across the rubber out on the mound. The 1-1 pitch from Hathaway up and into the air, and that will drop in front of Hernandez. Take a crazy hop over him to his right shoulder, rolling all the way to the wall. And strolling into second base is Zane Gelfman. Hernandez had lined that one up perfectly to just one-hop him, and it took a crazy bounce over his right shoulder all the way to the wall. So a 2-out double for St. Gelfman, helped out by the Kiger right field. 2 outs in the the top of the first. Connor Fabian, the cleanup hitter. Strike one called. 0-1 count for Fabian, the right fielder today for the Storm. Got game one off. Hathaway brings the ball into his glove, sets, looks back at second base. The 0-1 over the top, up and into center field. Being sent from second base is Gelfman. Lewandowski throws it in and throwing to second base and tagging out the runner will be Nick Hermes. And the run will count. Gelfman gets in before Fabian is out at second base. An RBI single, tries to stretch it into a double and is caught on the base paths, but it's a 1-0 lead for the Storm. After the top of the first, we go to the bottom half of the inning. It'll be Lewandowski, Hanks, and Barrett due up.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Holiday Jewelry, family owned since 1975, setting the standard for quality and service in Klamath Falls community since the beginning. And Klamath Eye Center, your complete eye care center, from comprehensive eye exams to surgery and even our optical dispensary. Without these sponsors, nothing is possible. Thank you. The Klamath Falls Gems would like to send their thanks to Russ, Spires and Pooley, LLP, Avista, Herald and News, and Henry's Roofing and Supply for sponsoring the 2016 season. Thank you so much. Taco Bell is proud to support the Klamath Falls Gems. Don't forget to take advantage of the free taco coupon on the back of your Klamath Falls Gems ticket stub. Everyone who comes out to a Klamath Falls Gems game this year can receive a free taco at one of Taco Bell's 2 locations in Klamath Falls. Once again, we'd like to thank Taco Bell for all their support of the Klamath Falls Gems.
Zach Lewandowski will lead things off for Klamath Falls in the bottom of the first. A 1-0 lead for South Bay over the Gems. Lewandowski in the 9th spot in game one went 0 for 3, but barreled up 3 balls and they hung up in the outfield. A pair of fly balls and a line out to center field. Would like to be rewarded for his efforts. He swings and misses. Strike one, Michael Valdez out on the mound. Valdez 1-2 on the year, is making his 12th appearance. 3rd start, has thrown 20 and a third innings, given up 29 hits, 25 runs, 21 of which are earned, 21 walks to 17 strikeouts, as this one will run all the way to the backstop. And the lefty-lefty matchup, 1-1 the count. It was Valdez who was on the mound when the Gems were able to come back and walk off against the Storm. In game 2 of the series, a 5-4 victory. Carswell walked to lead it off. Walker advanced him from second to third after Carswell moved to second on a ball that got stuck underneath the backstop. And then a pair of intentional walks and a Alex Alvarado sacrifice fly to win the game. Ball 2 ups and on the outside half, a 2-1 count for Zach Lewandowski, the speedy center fielder for the Gems. Came into today hitting .276 on the year, but as I mentioned, went over 3 in game 1. The 2-1 fastball inside, 3-1 the count. Defensively for the Storm, Dominic Orlando at first base, Anthony Lim at second, Zane Gelfman at short, Chase Henley at third base. Has the lefty Valdez working from the first base side. The 3-1 pitch called strike 2. Lewandowski watching that one into the glove of Reed Oster. as Jason Marley, the catcher for the Storm, got ejected in the bottom of the first of game one. The 3-2 pitch will go way up out of the zone, and Lewandowski is aboard. Lewandowski, a speedster for the Gems, has swiped 6 bags, has not been caught stealing on the year. Dalton Hanks hitting in the 2 spot, playing shortstop for the Gems. He was at second base in game 1, playing the other side of middle infield. First pitch from the lefty, outside on the right-handed hitting Hanks. 1-0 the count. Hard throwing Michael Valdez, but seems to have issue with control thus far. Lewandowski aboard. Up off the outside edge, 2-0 the count. No outs in the bottom of the first, a 1-0 lead for the Storm. The 2-0 upstairs. 3-0 the count to Dalton Hanks, who's just going to wait for one to drop into the strike zone. A lot of misses from Valdez thus far. Hanks, like Lewandowski, went 0 for 3 in game 1 of the doubleheader. The 3-0. Called strike, cutting across the zone, grabbing knee-high strike. Moves it to a 3-1 count. Valdez looks out at first base. Lewandowski goes. Pitch up, ball 4. Back-to-back, free 90 feet for the Gems to start this one off. Ralph Maldonado and Reed Oster will go out to the mound to talk with Valdez. And the outfield for the Storm, it's Latrell Harrison left. Isaiah Todd Fitzhugh getting the start in center field. Connor Fabian in right. Todd Fitzhugh has been in center field for the previous 3 games. Got game 1 of the series off. Anthony Lim started in center field. Lim's bounced around. He's played every outfield position, and we've seen him on the infield a couple of times, and he's back out at the infield. He's playing second base today. Kyle Barrett coming to the plate. Barrett tied the season record for home runs in Klamath Falls with 8 after blasting 2 off of Scott Petrosi in game 1 of the doubleheader. 2 2-run home runs, 3 for 4. Those 2 home runs, 7 and 8, and 4 RBIs. Back-to-back games for Barrett with 4 RBIs. A 1-0 lead for the Storm. Barrett digs into the right side. And the pitch swung on, rolled up the middle. A chance to turn 2. Gelfman will slide, and safe at first base is Barrett, as Gelfman electing to tag second base himself instead of flipping to Lim. And that could be the difference in a pair of outs as opposed to 1. So Barrett is aboard. Lewandowski to third base. Hanks is out number 1. Nick Hermes at the plate, hitting from the right-handed batter's box. The switch hitting Nick Hermes. Digs in, runners on the corners, 1 out. Still double play depth up the middle for South Bay. Valdez looks out towards first base. Kyle Barrett with his lead will go to the plate. First pitch swinging, a drive into right field, and catching it is Fabian. Breaking towards the plate is Lewandowski, and in safely to tie the game is Lewandowski, the speedster. Across on the sacrifice line drive from Nick Hermes. Out number 2. Now they're going to try and check over at third base. At least that was the call from the dugout, but Valdez says, no, I'm not going to throw it to third base. Now he will. And Rick Abel, the home plate umpire, indicating Lewandowski didn't leave early. Remains a 1-1 game. 2 outs, runner at first base. Kyle Barrett, after the sacrifice fly from Hermes, brings in Lewandowski. And with Sinkovich at the plate, first pitch runs all the way to the backstop. Barrett takes a free 90 feet as it got underneath the backstop. One and 0 the count on Colin Sinkovich. He went 1 for 4 in game 1 of the doubleheader. Hit a double, but would be stranded at second base in the third. A leadoff double. At that, he reached on a fielder's choice and an error in the 7th and was pinch run for by Marzell Brown. The 1-0. Big chopper to the right side. And letting it go to second base, Kim. And out at first base is Sinkovich with Valdez covering. For out number 3, the Gems respond in the bottom half of the inning. And get Zach Lewandowski across after he led off by getting a free 90 feet. He comes around to score a 1-1 game as we go to the top of the second. Isaiah Todd Fitzhugh, Connor Martin, and Chase Henley due up for the Storm when we return.
Klamath Falls Baseball is brought to you with help from Rogue Credit Union. Rogue Credit Union is committed to actively engaging in the communities we serve. Rogue Credit Union, banking and finance since 1956. Living local, it's a Rogue thing. And Quail Park of Klamath Falls, a senior lifestyle community in Klamath Falls, their experienced and caring team of healthcare professionals will treat you and your loved ones like they would treat their own families. Thank you for supporting the Klamath Falls Gems.
Fans, if you own a business and would like your brand to be seen at Kiger Field, give the Gems a call at 541-883-4367 and tell them you would like to discuss the most unique and cost-effective marketing opportunity in the area. Call the Gems at 541-883-GEMS. Isaiah Todd Fitzhugh leading things off for South Bay in the top of the second. A 1-1 game. Hathaway goes to the sidearm approach for our first pitch. Ball 1 called. A sunny day here in Klamath Falls. No clouds in the sky. Strike 1 called. Another sidearm pitch from Hathaway. And it truly is sidearm. He's full extension from the side as opposed to a 3/4 arm slot. Now he'll go over the top and hit the front arm of Todd Fitzhugh as he goes 90 feet. As Ralph Maldonado exchanges a smile with Brian Hathaway. Coach Maldonado, a good-natured guy. Big smiles on both their faces after Todd Fitzhugh reaches on a hit by pitch. Connor Martin, the designated hitter, digs in. White pants, black tops for South Bay. All white uniforms for the Gems. First pitch outside. Ball 1 gets off the glove of Mensing, but he retrieves it quickly to keep Todd Fitzhugh at first base. A 1-1 game in the top of the second. Game 2 of the doubleheader. Game 5 of the series. Game 6 played tomorrow at 2:05. First pitch. 1-0. Ripped over the head of Hermes at second base into right center field. Lewandowski will get there quickly. Keep it to just one base. But a well-hit fastball from Brian Hathaway by Connor Martin. 2 runners on, no outs for the Storm. Chase Henley steps up. He's 0 for 4 on the day, trying to get his first hit. Hathaway goes to the sidearm, way outside. And it gets away from Mensing. And now stuck out at second base is Todd Fitzhugh. And standing on the base is Connor Martin. So Martin a little bit overzealous. Both of them standing on the bag now. And Todd Fitzhugh, the victim of Connor Martin's base running. Todd Fitzhugh tagged out by Colin Sinkovich for out number 1 as Martin had broken towards second base as they got momentarily away from Mensing. Todd Fitzhugh didn't get the same read apparently as Martin, and he stayed on the base paths and near second base, and he gets eventually run down. 2-0 the count on Henley. Another pitch outside from Brian Hathaway. The 6'5" Brian Hathaway with just his cap in the sun now as it's working its way towards the infield dirt on the left side. Fastball up. 3-0 the count. Hathaway, Florida native, Orlando, Florida, to be specific. Goes to the University of South Carolina upstate. As this one is fair ball down the right field line. That will go into the bench of the bullpen down the right field line. And scoring from second base is Connor Martin. The ground rule double from Chase Henley. A 2-1 lead now for the Storm. Gonna bring up Reed Oster, the catcher for the Storm. He got game 1 off, went 2 for 4, the double and a run scored in the blowout last night, 19-7. The Gems thoroughly dismantled the Storm. Chase Henley takes his lead out at second base. 2-1 lead for South Bay. The pitch from Hathaway bounced off the plate. 1-1 the count. 1 out in the top of the second. 2 runs on 4 hits for the Storms. 1 run on no hits for the Gems. The 1-1. Fastball over the top, swinging and a miss. Strike 2. Rick Abel, the home plate umpire. Corey Stratton out in front of shortstop in the field. Chase Henley right behind him. The 1-2 pitch. Swing on and miss. Strike 3. Down goes Reed Oster. He's just overpowered in that matchup between he and Brian Hathaway going over the top. Back-to-back pitches. It's the first strikeout of the game for Hathaway. Out number 2 in the second. Anthony Lim hitting in the 9-hole, as he has in every game of this series. Really a second leadoff hitter. As Hathaway will step off. Henley back to the bag. He reestablishes his lead. Hathaway looks back at second base. Double takes. Will go to the plate. Fastball up. 1-0 the count. Slight breeze out towards center field from home plate. Hathaway working from the third base side of the rubber. Eyeing in at James Mensing. Looks back at second base. Sidearm. Cuts across. Too low. 2-0 the count. A 2-1 lead for South Bay over the Klamath Falls Gems. The penultimate game of the season. The 2-0. 3-0 the count. Lim not chasing as Hathaway's working that outside edge, not getting the strike zone just quite yet, being set up by Rick Abel. Called strike one in the 3-0 count. And Lim tried to lean out of the way of that one, but it was the inside half of the plate. A deceiving pitch from Hathaway as it runs in on right-handed hitters. Over the top, 3-1, up into the air, into right center field. Lewandowski on the sprint, and the dive makes the play in right center field. Robs the hit from Lim for out number 3. 1 run comes across on Chase Henley's ground rule double. He's stranded. 1 run on 2 hits, no errors. 1 left aboard for the Storm. It's a 2-1 lead for South Bay over Klamath Falls as we go to the bottom half of the second. It'll be Mickey Walker, James Mensing, and Hector Hernandez due up.
Hey fans, how would you like to book a company or a family group outing at Kiger Stadium? It is a fun way to get everyone together, socialize, and have a great time. Contact the Gems at 541-883-4367 to book your group or to get more information. Get your group booked now by calling 541-883-GEMS.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Holiday Jewelry, family owned since 1975, setting the standard for quality and service in Klamath Falls community since the beginning. And Klamath Eye Center, your complete eye care center from comprehensive eye exams to surgery and even our optical dispensary. Without these sponsors, nothing is possible. Thank you.
A 2-1 lead for South Bay as we move to the bottom half of the second. I'm Nick Winstead. You're listening to Gems Live. The lefty Valdez out on the mound, facing up against Mickey Walker. Walker, who threw in game 1, picked up the loss. Watches ball 1 miss on the outside edge. 1-0 the count. Kicking and firing the 1-0. Once again, missing on the outside half is Valdez. Valdez works from the first base side. His whole foot on the rubber, the 2-0. And that one is bounced into the plate. 3-0 the count. Some guys electing just to put the least amount of shoe on either side. He likes to use his full foot on the first base side. Just that toe barely off. The 3-0. Called strike 1. Walker taking all the way. Mickey Walker waves the bat out in front of the plate. Green batting gloves go along with his green batting helmet. The 3-1. Ball 4 low. And for the second inning in a row, a free pass to first base for the Gems. Zach Lewandowski came around to score after he led off the inning. Free 90. Third walk of the game for Valdez. James Mensing comes to the plate. Mensing was intentionally walked by Valdez. Mensing squares up to bunt and pushes one foul down the first baseline. Strike 1. A 2-1 lead for the Storm over the Gems. A ground rule double hit by Chase Henley. Plating Connor Martin to retake the lead. The Storm struck first. Went up 1-0. The Gems responded and promptly retook the lead. Walker with his lead at first base. The 0-1. Fastball up. 1-1 the count. Chase Henley was ready to break towards the plate from third base. Dominic Orlando covering with Walker aboard. Double play depth up the middle. Corey Stratton on the second base side of second base. The 1-1. 2-1 the count. Mensing trying to sacrifice, but Valdez not putting one close enough these last two pitches. The first was fouled down the first base side by Mensing. A 2-1 count. Gelfman playing close to the bag. At shortstop, Walker goes up into the air, into left field. Now chasing in on it is Harris, and he will glove it. Harris will try and fire all the way to first base, and safe back in. At first is Walker playing a dangerous game, trying to go in standing up, but is able to beat out the throw. One hop to first base by Harris. A strong throw. That is out number one. Hernandez coming to the plate. We'll have a quick chat with Coach Alvarado up the third baseline. One runner on, one out, and a one-run lead for the Storm. The Gems still looking for their first hit. They were able to piece together walks, a fielder's choice, and a sacrifice fly to get their first run of the game. Now Mickey Walker aboard via the walk. Walker takes a slight lead at first base. Valdez looks out at him. Will go to the plate. Fastball inside will run away from Oster, and streaking over to second base is Walker. And that changes this at bat for Hernandez as Walker moves over on the pass ball, gets underneath the glove of Oster. Time is called by Valdez as he asks for a fresh baseball. It's a 1-0 count to Hernandez, who went 1 for 4 with a double, an RBI, and a run scored in the 19-7 victory last night. The 1-0. And that will be ground through the left side past the dive of Gelfman. Being held up at third base is Walker. Hernandez takes a big turn around first base. Another strong throw from Harris. But now runners on the corners, one out, and Marzell Brown at the plate. And that 5-4 walk-off victory for the Gems. Brown was the left fielder. He went 0 for 3, but reached on a walk to load the bases in the 8th. Was down 0-2 and battled back to get ball 4. As he digs in. Works from the back end of the right-handed batter's box. White gloves, white taped wrists. And Hernandez tries to go to the plate, and now sliding in safely from third base is Walker. So Hector gets caught in the rundown, but it allows Walker to go to the plate. Not exactly what the Gems drew up, but it ties the game. So Hernandez is caught stealing. Out number 2. Now Marzell with 2 outs and no runners on in the bottom of the second. Valdez eyeing at Oster. The pitch, swing and a miss, strike 1. Brown will take a quick step out before digging back in. Valdez sets the 0-1. Picked off the dirt by Oster, and that was well inside, as well as very low. A 1-1 count. 2 outs. In the bottom of the second, a 2-2 game. The Gems 2 runs on 1 hit. Helped out by 3 walks. The 1-1. Fouled off. Into the glove of Oster. Strike 2. A 1-2 count. 2 outs. A 2-2 game. The pitch. Called strike 3. Catching Brown, looking for the first strikeout of the game for Michael Valdez, and that ends the second inning. Both teams exchanging runs in every frame thus far. A 2-2 game. We go to the third. It'll be the top third of the order due up for the Storm. Latrell Harris, Dominic Orlando, and Zane Gelfman.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Holiday Jewelry, family owned since 1975, setting the standard for quality and service in Klamath Falls community since the beginning. And Klamath Eye Center, your complete eye care center, from comprehensive eye exams to surgery and even our optical dispensary. Without these sponsors, nothing is possible. Thank you. The Klamath Falls Gems would like to send their thanks to Russ, Spires and Pooley, LLP, Avista, Herald and News, and Henry's Roofing and Supply for sponsoring the 2016 season. Thank you so much. Taco Bell is proud to support the Klamath Falls Gems. Don't forget to take advantage of the free taco coupon on the back of your Klamath Falls Gems ticket stub. Everyone who comes out to a Klamath Falls Gems game this year can receive a free taco at one of Taco Bell's 2 locations in Klamath Falls. Once again, we'd like to thank Taco Bell for all their support of the Klamath Falls Gems.
A 2-2 game as we're in the third, a 7-inning game. In game 2 of the doubleheader, a pair of 7s being played today. Hathaway sets at the chest, over the top, first pitch, fastball just missing off the outside edge on Latrell Harris. Harris went down 0-2 in the first 2 pitches of the game, but then worked the count full and drew a walk before he would get doubled up on a Dominic Orlando line drive. 2-0 the count. And thus far, the strategy against Brian Hathaway seems to be just to take a lot of pitches if you're South Bay. Try not to fall into that deception. Called strike on the outside edge. 2-1 the count. Long look in from Hathaway to Mensing. Over the top. Down low. 3-1 the count. High and inside, ball 4. Back-to-back free 90s for Latrell Harris. Runner on. No outs for Dominic Orlando. As this one will be rolled to Walker. He'll go to second base. Back to first. No. Hanks will not throw it back to first base. He ends up popping it up out of his glove on the transfer. It could have been a good chance for a 3-6-3 double play, but will just go down as a 3-6 fielder's choice. Orlando is aboard. Latrell Harris out. 1 down. 1 aboard for Gelfman, who doubled into right field. Took a weird hop on a line drive. Got over the head of Hernandez. First pitch fastball. Down low on the outside half. Knocked down by Mensing. 1-0 the count. 1 out. In the top of the third, a 2-2 game as Breeze out to center field. The 1-0 tipped foul by Gelfman. Going upstairs to try and connect with that one. Just getting a piece of it. Orlando takes his lead at first base. Hathaway goes over the top, the 1-1. Strike 2 called. 1-2 count. Hathaway sets at the bell. The 1-2 pitch. 2-2 the count. Missing inside is Hathaway. Hathaway brings the ball into his glove, sets at the chest, looks back to second base. The sidearm 2-2. Over the head of a leaping Nick Hermes into right field. Backing it up will be Lewandowski. And the throw will go to third base, and sliding in safely is Dominic Orlando. Able to beat out the throw of Lewandowski. Now 2 runners in scoring position as Gelfman advances on the throw. Connor Fabian, the cleanup hitter, had a single and an RBI, tried to stretch it into a double and ended up getting thrown out at second base for out number 3. First pitch ripped, fair ball down the right field line, rolling all the way to the bench, and picking it up is Hernandez. Now throwing it in is Hernandez as it got into the bench again. But stopping at second base regardless is Fabian, so ground rule double or not. Fabian is at second base, 2 runs across for the Storm. Orlando scores. Gelfman scores. Now a 4-2 lead for South Bay over top of the Gems. Isaiah Todd Fitzhugh was hit by a pitch and got into a bit of base running trouble in his first time up. See his first pitch ball is he was out at second base and a ball momentarily got past Mensing. Connor Martin was aboard. Martin went to second base and just stood on the bag, leaving Todd Fitzhugh not a lot of options. This one's up into the air. Lewandowski will grab it for out number 2. Connor Martin coming to the plate. He lined one into right field and scored a run. His first time up. Scoring on Chase Henley's ground rule double. First pitch from Hathaway. Ball 1. Clear blue skies here in Klamath Falls. Been a perfect day for baseball. Game 1 started off at 75 degrees. It's now kicked up to 85 degrees. Swing and a miss. Strike 1 on Martin. 1-1 the count. The left-handed hitting Martin, the DH, stands straight up in the box. Hands just waving around. The 1-1. Called strike 2 on the outside edge. 1-2 the count. As Rick Abel and Martin quickly exchange words, but no ill intent, just making sure that the pitch was there. So 1-2 count, 2 outs. Hathaway sets at the chest. Now time is called by Martin. Hathaway wants to come set. The 1-2 over the top. Little line drive right to Hanks at shortstop for out number 3. Connor Fabian drives in a pair for the Storm. It's a 4-2 lead for South Bay over Klamath Falls as we go to the bottom half of the third. It'll be the top third due up for the Gems, Lewandowski, Hanks, and Barrett when we return.
Klamath Falls Baseball is brought to you with help from Rogue Credit Union. Rogue Credit Union is committed to actively engaging in the communities we serve. Rogue Credit Union, banking and finance since 1956. Living local, it's a Rogue thing. And Quail Park of Klamath Falls, a senior lifestyle community in Klamath Falls, their experienced and caring team of healthcare professionals will treat you and your loved ones like they would treat their own families. Thank you for supporting the Klamath Falls Gems.
Fans, if you own a business and would like your brand to be seen at Kiger Field, give the Gems a call at 541-883-4367 and tell them you would like to discuss the most unique and cost-effective marketing opportunity in the area. Call the Gems at 541-883-GEMS.
Zach Lewandowski leading off the bottom of the third, a 4-2 lead for the Storm over the Gems. 2 runs coming across in the top half of the inning. Thus far, the Gems have been able to match the runs put up by the Storm. 1 run in the top half of the first for the Storm, 1 run in the bottom of the half for the Gems. Another run in the top of the second for the Storm, 1 run in the bottom of the second for the Gems. Now amping things up as this one will be pulled foul down the first baseline. Chasing after it is Orlando, but it continues to work its way out of play. Strike 1. Lewandowski works from about the middle of the left-handed batter's box, a black wooden bat. Missing yet again on Lewandowski is Valdez. 2-1 the count, but a near miss this time, trying to sink in an off-speed pitch from the first base side is Valdez. The 2-1. This one will be shot into the glove of Henley, but he drops it, but he sticks with it for out number 1, as that was right to his glove. He barely had to move at all. He was ready to go, hunched over, and Lewandowski shot it right to him and popped right out, but with plenty of time. Henley fires to first base for out number 1. Dalton Hanks comes to the plate. He walked his first time up. It was the first out of that inning on a fielder's choice hit into by Kyle Barrett. Called strike on the outside edge as Dalton began his swing but stopped it. Osher will set up on the inside half. The pitch driven into left field, and that will drop in front of Harris. He had no idea where that one was. Lost it in the sun immediately. He wouldn't have been able to get there regardless, but very plain to see from up here. Harris just never got a read on that one once it made its way into the sun. 1 on, 1 out for Kyle Barrett. Barrett hit into that fielder's choice. It was a chance for a double play. He rolled it over to Gelfman at shortstop, but Gelfman elected to go to the bag himself and throw to first instead of tossing it to Anthony Lim. And Barrett ended up beating it out. Valdez will go to first base. Back in, standing up, is Hanks. A 4-2 lead for the Storm. We're in the bottom of the third of a 7-inning game. A pair of sevens being played today. Game 1 went to the Storm, 7-5. Strike 1, and on Barrett from Valdez. 7-5, the score of the first game of this series. The Storm played at 3 runs in the top of the 9th to try and push themselves back from a 5-run deficit in that game, but fell short. And they pick up their first win, 7-5. They're on top, 4-2 in game 5 of the 6-game series. The 0-1 to Barrett, up and out of play. Strike 2 off the end of the bat. An 0-2 count for Barrett, the DH today. Hit in the 2 spot in the last 2 games has moved down to the 3 hole. The 0-2, ripped foul down the first base side and ends up working its way right into the tarp. Nelson Santiago will jog out. He gets the day off after playing first base in game 1. He's on ball duty, as it were. It's an 0-2 count for Kyle Barrett. 1 on, 1 out in the bottom of the 3rd, a 2-run deficit for the Gems. The 0-2 pitch. Fastball missing low on the outside edge. 1-2 the count. And double play depth up the middle for the Storm. Valdez comes set at the chest. The 1-2. Fouled off by Barrett. Tried to wait on that one. Couldn't wait long enough, though. The breaking ball. End up fouling it off. 1-2 the count. Valdez will rub up a fresh baseball behind the mound. Throw over to first base has Hanks back in, standing up. Anthony Lim playing second base has sunglasses on the top of his hat, but elects not to use them. The 1-2. Missing high. 2-2 the count, but he holds his glove up in front of his face to keep the sun from his eyes. An interesting choice. It's a 2-2 count. Valdez sets. Runner goes, and that'll go way outside. No chance for a throw. Hanks steals the bag. Gloved on the backhand by Oster. But swiping second base is Hanks. Now a full count for Barrett as he digs back in the right-handed batter's box. The lefty-righty matchup. Valdez looks out to second base. Hanks with his lead. The 3-2. Fouled off third base side as Barrett continues to battle as it takes a hop into the dugout for the Storm. Storm dugout on the third base side. Gems on the first base side. Valdez, new baseball. Kicks some dirt away on the mound. Gets set up on the first base side. Leans in towards Oster. Brings the ball into his glove. The payoff pitch will be ground to second baseman Lim, and he'll softly toss it over to first base for out number 2. Advancing on the ground at is Hanks. He moves to third base, and Nick Hermes at the plate. He had a sacrifice fly that plated Zach Lewandowski, and really is a sacrifice line drive to Connor Fabian in right field. And now with 2 outs, he's going to try and get this one to drop. Nick Hermes, tall black socks. Takes a long look at his bat before digging into the right-handed batter's box. Switch hitting Nick Hermes. First pitch down low on the outside half. 1-0 the count. Abel will call time and wipe off home plate as it had been inundated with dirt. Now you can see the white of the plate. It's a 1-0 count. 2 outs, runner at third base, a 4-2 lead for the Storm in the bottom of the third. The 1-0. Fastball up, 2-0 the count. Don't need to be able to see the plate to know that one's a ball. The 2-0. Down low, breaking for the plate is Hanks, and he is in, standing up. It gets underneath. Oster runs to the backstop, and he scores on the pass ball. He got a great break on that one. Now a 4-3 game. And the Gems trail by just 1 now. Nick Hermes up 3-0 in the count. Trying to get himself aboard for Colin Sinkovich. Valdez sets the 3-0. Strike one called as Nick Hermes was ready to make his way out to first base for a free 90 feet, but a strike one called for Rick Abel, the home plate umpire. Corey Stratton behind first base. The 3-1. A drive into left field, and again, Harris can't find it initially. It gets past him, rolling all the way to the wall. Hermes digging for 2. Misplayed out in left field by Harris. After he found it, he still couldn't make the clean play, cutting it off. He had to let it roll all the way to the wall and tried to grab it. Ended up fumbling with it on the warning track. Hermes into second base easily, but Harris has had a tough time reading the ball once it gets into the air into left field. And up in front of his face. He's got sunglasses on, but even so, having a tough time. The sun behind the first base sign. It's a 1-0 count to Sinkovich. The 1-0 will bounce to the backstop. Hermes breaks to third base, takes a huge turn, and back at third base after advancing. Now a 2-0 count for Sinkovich, as Valdez has had trouble controlling thus far. It's a 4-3 lead for the Storm, but Nick Hermes doubles and then advanced to third on a wild pitch. The 2-0. Called strike on the outside edge. Had to be backhanded by Oster. Called strike. 2-1 the count. The pitch. 3-1 the count. As Sinkovich digs in, works from the back end of the right-handed batter's box. The pitch. Inside. Ball 4. Now runners on the corners. 2 outs for Mickey Walker, who drew the third walk of the game. Coach Maldonado will head out. Talk with Valdez. A couple of guys went out to the bullpen. Looks like Jeremy Albert made his way to the bullpen, and he's going to start getting heated up. Continuing to talk out of the mound are Oster, Valdez, and Maldonado, the middle infielders, Gelfman and Lim. Chatting out at second base while Hermes, Walker, and Alvarado, Coach Alvarado that is, discussing things up the third base line. Colin Sinkovich standing at first base. Mickey Walker digging in. And Drew Watkins scored a run in the second. It's a 4-3 lead for the Storm. First pitch strike located on the outside half against Walker. 0-1 the count, 2 outs. Valdez nods in agreement with Oster. The 0-1 outside looked like a pitch out, but Sinkovich not going. 1-1 the count. Walker waving the bat out in front of the plate. Now loads up behind. Right side, the 1-1. Fastball momentarily gets away from Oster, and good read by Hermes not to break for the plate. 2-1 the count. Sinkovich staying at first base, not wanting to be thrown out. Never want to be out number 3, especially with tying run at third base. It's a 2-1 count. Valdez sets at the chest. Will go to first base. A strong throw over. As Sinkovich in standing up, he's not got a huge lead. He's about a step and a half off as he starts inching towards second base. The 2-1. Called strike on the outside half. Rick Abel, the home plate umpire. The 2-2. Fastball away. 3-2 the count. Full count for Walker. Runners on the corners. James Mensing on deck. Valdez sets. The 3-2. Fouled off to the first base side. A 3-ball, 2-strike count, 2 outs, 2 runners on for the Gems, trailing by 1, 4-3 in the bottom of the third. The 3-2 runs all the way to the backstop. Hermes will go to the plate as that one rolled all the way into the Gems dugout. And we've got a tie game. A payoff pitch that was not even close to the zone. Got away from Valdez. Wraps around the backstop and ends up being free trip to home plate. Sinkovich goes from first to third, and Walker goes to second base. So now 2 runners in scoring position for James Mensing. A 4-4 game, and thus far the Gems have been able to match. All the runs put up by the Storm have not led yet. Mensing will jog up the third baseline to talk with Coach Alvarado. Mensing digs in. The first pitch of the at-bat. Fastball high off the outside edge. Ball 1. The 1-0 to Mensing. Fastball high off the outside edge again. 2-0 the count. As Jeremy Albert continues to get heated up in the bullpen. The 2-0 count, 2 outs. (3-0) the count. As Albert's making his way back from the bullpen now. This could very well be the last hitter for Michael Valdez. 2 runners on. 3-0 count, 2 outs. He sets and fires. Strike 1. Mensing taking all the way. The 3-1 pitch. Strike 2 called. Back-to-back taken strikes by James Mensing. A full count now. The 3-2 fouled off by Mensing. Stays alive. A 3-2 count, 2 outs. The pitch. Softly hit into left center field. That'll drop well short of Todd Fitzhugh-Harris. Scoring from second base is Walker. James Mensing, a 2 RBI single, puts the Gems on top, 6-4. And Coach Maldonado will go out to the mound. Looks like Valdez's day will be done. James Mensing in a full count, able to softly put one over the head of Gelfman and into left center field. And the Gems take the lead, 6-4. When we return, it'll be number 35, Jeremy Albert, out on the mound. A 6-4 lead in the bottom of the third, 2 outs, and James Mensing aboard after he gives the Gems the lead.
Hey fans, how would you like to book a company or a family group outing at Kiger Stadium? It is a fun way to get everyone together, socialize, and have a great time. Contact the Gems at 541-883-4367 to book your group or to get more information. Get your group booked now by calling 541-883-GEMS.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Holiday Jewelry, family owned since 1975, setting the standard for quality and service in Klamath Falls community since the beginning. And Klamath Eye Center, your complete eye care center, from comprehensive eye exams to surgery and even our optical dispensary. Without these sponsors, nothing is possible. Thank you. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Holiday Jewelry, family owned since 1975, setting the standard for quality and service in Klamath Falls community since the beginning. And Klamath Eye Center, your complete eye care center, from comprehensive eye exams to surgery and even our optical dispensary. Without these sponsors, nothing is possible. Thank you. The Klamath Falls Gems would like to send their thanks to Russ, Spires and Pooley, LLP, Avista, Herald and News, and Henry's Roofing and Supply for sponsoring the 2016 season. Thank you so much. Taco Bell is proud to support the Klamath Falls Gems. Don't forget to take advantage of the free taco coupon on the back of your Klamath Falls Gems ticket stub. Everyone who comes out to a Klamath Falls Gems game this year can receive a free taco at one of Taco Bell's 2 locations in Klamath Falls. Once again, we'd like to thank Taco Bell for all their support of the Klamath Falls Gems.
Hector Hernandez will be facing up against Jeremy Albert, the 5'7", 180-pound Lewis and Clark College freshman. Coming in, taking over from Michael Valdez, who goes 2 2/3 innings, gives up 4 hits, 6 runs, all of which are earned, 4 walks, 1 strikeout. First pitch outside, ball 1 to Hernandez. Hernandez, who got the first hit of the game for the Gems, was caught stealing, but in doing so allowed Walker to break to the plate and tie the game. 1-0, fastball inside, 2-0 the count. Hernandez standing in strong. Albert making his 9th appearance on the year. Has started a pair of games, has thrown 21 1/3 innings. It's a 2-0 count. Softly hit right to first baseman Orlando, who grabs it, steps on the bag for out number 3. But the damage done. 4 runs come across in the inning for the Gems. They take a 6-4 lead as we go to the 4th. Due up for the Storm, it'll be the 7, 8, 9 hitters, Henley, Oster, and Lim.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Holiday Jewelry, family owned since 1975, setting the standard for quality and service in Klamath Falls community since the beginning. And Klamath Eye Center, your complete eye care center, from comprehensive eye exams to surgery and even our optical dispensary. Without these sponsors, nothing is possible. Thank you. The Klamath Falls Gems would like to send their thanks to Russ, Spires and Pooley, LLP, Avista, Herald and News, and Henry's Roofing and Supply for sponsoring the 2016 season. Thank you so much. Taco Bell is proud to support the Klamath Falls Gems. Don't forget to take advantage of the free taco coupon on the back of your Klamath Falls Gems ticket stub. Everyone who comes out to a Klamath Falls Gems game this year can receive a free taco at one of Taco Bell's 2 locations in Klamath Falls. Once again, we'd like to thank Taco Bell for all their support of the Klamath Falls Gems.
Chase Henley will lead things off for the Storm. A 6-4 lead now for the Gems, able to match 2 runs put up in the top and add 2 more on top of that. Top of the third, Storm took a 4-2 lead, and the Gems respond, plating 4 runs of their own, 6-4, as it's a now 1-0 count on Henley's. This one up into the air into right field. Hernandez tracking it down, reaches up with the glove, and makes the play for out number 1 as Henley is retired. That'll bring up the catcher, Reed Oster, who struck out swinging, overpowered by a couple of over-the-top fastballs by Brian Hathaway. Hathaway works from the third base side of the rubber. Goes over the top. Fastball just missing off the outside edge. 1-0 the count. The 1-0. Comes 2-0 the count. A pair of misses on the over-the-top delivery from Hathaway. A guy who can go sidearm mid-80s and all of a sudden touch low 90s over the top. So something that hitters have to be cognizant of. Strike 1. Going over the top, so he's gone over the top in every pitch of this at bat thus far. 2-1 count, 1 out in the top of the 4th. Fastball away, 3-1 the count, and once again it's over the top. Mensing sets up outside, sidearm will be bounced in. And Mensing will go and retrieve that one after the walk. 3rd walk of the game from Hathaway. The previous 2 both earned by Latrell Harris, and now Reed Oster has himself free 90 feet. Anthony Lim called strike 1. He is 0 for 1 today. A fly out into center field and a 3-1 count to end the top of the 2nd. Stranding Chase Henley. And a chance to turn 2. Underhand to Hermes. Hermes turns and fires. High throw, and staying on the bag is Walker for out number 2. A 6-4-3 double play. Mickey Walker leaning up and keeping his foot on the bag for out number 3. As we are through 3.5 innings, we go to the bottom half of the 4th. It'll be Marzell Brown, Zach Lewandowski, and Dalton Hanks coming up. A 6-4 lead for the Gems.
Klamath Falls Baseball is brought to you with help from Rogue Credit Union. Rogue Credit Union is committed to actively engaging in the communities we serve. Rogue Credit Union, banking and finance since 1956. Living local, it's a Rogue thing. And Quail Park of Klamath Falls, a senior lifestyle community in Klamath Falls, their experienced and caring team of healthcare professionals will treat you and your loved ones like they would treat their own families. Thank you for supporting the Klamath Falls Gems.
Fans, if you own a business and would like your brand to be seen at Kiger Field, give the Gems a call at 541-883-4367 and tell them you would like to discuss the most unique and cost-effective marketing opportunity in the area. Call the Gems at 541-883-GEMS.
Marzell Brown will lead things off for the Gems in the bottom of the fourth. The only hitter not to come to the plate in the third. They sent 8 guys up. Hector Hernandez, the first to face Jeremy Albert, ended up grounding out to first base. First pitch strike from Albert, a man with 2 first names. The 0-1 to Brown. Big chopper to the third base side, charging in on his Henley. Fixed it up between his legs. High throw to first base in time. Able to beat out the speed of Brown. Henley's had a couple of hard plays at third base, as this one took a sharp hop into his body, stuck with it, and fired a laser over to Orlando at first base for out number 1. Brown 0 for 2 today. Strikeout looking, and now this ground out goes to the top of the order. Zach Lewandowski coming up. He's 0 for 1 today. He also drew a walk and scored a run. Hitting from the left side. First pitch breaking ball way outside. Lips off the glove of Oster and runs up the third base side, but with nobody on, he can take his time to go retrieve that one. It's a 1-0 count. In the bottom of the fourth, a 6-4 lead for the Gems. Fastball low and inside. 2-0 the count on Lewandowski. Albert brings the ball into his glove, closed it off from the hitters. The 2-0. Check swing, strike 1. Fastball taken by Lewandowski. Ball behind the back now of Albert. As I mentioned, that closed off stance. He works from the back foot first base side. The 2-1. Called strike on the outside edge with the off-speed pitch. 2-2 the count. And his front foot, his left leg, up near the third base side of the rubber, so closing off his body to hitters, and he turns a little bit still, and throughout the course of his motion, deception a large part of a lot of guys' windups. Albert, no exception. The 2-2, rolled over to shortstop. Gelfand will wait on it. Fire to first base. In time, says Corey Stratton, but it looks a lot like Zach Lewandowski beat that one out. And the Gems dugout agrees, but up by 2 runs, they decide this is not the time to fight that battle. So Lewandowski is out on a bang-bang play at first base. That'll bring up Dalton Hanks. Hanks has reached safely both times up. He walked in his first at-bat, then hit a line drive into left field. Harris now has the benefit of the shade out in left, so hopefully for his sake he won't have to deal with any more eyes staring into the sun. First pitch, ball 1 down low. 1-0 count. Still a lot of sun on the right side of the field, in center field, second base, and in right field. The left side very much in the shade. The 1-0 fouled off. 1-1 the count. as Albert brings the ball into his glove at the belt. The 1-1 pitch on its way. That will hit Hanks in the front shoulder. He tried to turn out of the way of that one, but nothing he could do. Slipped out of the hands of Albert, and he's aboard with 2 outs, so he's safely aboard for the 3rd time today. As 1 for 1 with a run scored. He also stole a base his last time aboard. Kyle Barrett coming up 0 for 2 in Game 2 after going 3 for 4 with 2 2-run home runs. As it looks like someone from Pepsi Distributing was throwing over some baseballs that had been hit out throughout the course of the season. And so center fielder Isaiah Todd Fitzhugh has to wing them over to the third base side. First pitch to Barrett. Low and inside. Ball 1. 1-0 count. Barrett has grounded out and reached on a fielder's choice today. 6-4 lead for the Gems. 1-0 count. 2 outs for Barrett. The pitch off the outside edge. 2-0 the count. Nick Hermes on deck. 1 for 1 with a run scored on double he hit in the 3rd. He also had a sacrifice fly to bring in Lewandowski in the 1st. Barrett fouls this one off as he went to the outside half of the plate to try and connect with that one. A 2-1 count. He'll tighten up his batting gloves and step back in. One hard tap of home plate at the end of the bat before loading up behind the right shoulder. A 2-1 count for Barrett. Hanks with his lead at first base. The pitch. A drive into the air into right field. Fabian tracking over to his right and will collect it for out number 3. Kyle Barrett 0 for 3 today as Hanks is hit by a pitch but stranded at first. No runs on no hits, no errors, 1 left on base by Klamath Falls. They've now stranded 3. A scoreless 4th inning keeps the Gems on top by 2, 6-4 as we go to the 5th. It'll be Harris, Orlando, and Gelfman, the top third of the order, due up for the Storm.
Hey fans, how would you like to book a company or a family group outing at Kiger Stadium? It is a fun way to get everyone together, socialize, and have a great time. Contact the Gems at 541-883-4367 to book your group or to get more information. Get your group booked now by calling 541-883-GEMS.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Holiday Jewelry, family owned since 1975, setting the standard for quality and service in Klamath Falls community since the beginning. And Klamath Eye Center, your complete eye care center from comprehensive eye exams to surgery and even our optical dispensary. Without these sponsors, nothing is possible. Thank you.
Latrell Harris leading things off for the Storm. He has led off the 1st, 3rd, and now 5th innings, and he's gotten a walk in each of his previous times up. But it has been doubled up, and the first out in the inning. It's an 0-1 count. A 1-1 count. Hathaway sets and goes to the sidearm. This one's ripped over to second baseman Hermes. Gets it on the run. Throws to Walker, covering the bag in time. Walker was stumbling but is able to get his right foot onto the bag before tumbling back towards the field of play. Athletic play made by both Hermes and Walker. Hermes had to cut that one off. And the right field grass leaning down, all 6'3" of him. Able to grab that one on the run. And Walker had to go back to the bag covering and was able to make the play. Now Walker will switch out his glove. Looks like he might have inadvertently taken a pitcher's glove. Now he's got an infielder's glove. Swing and a miss. Strike one on Orlando as he chases inside. Oh, and 1 the count. Hathaway, sidearm delivery. Misses just off the outside edge. Zane Gelfman on deck. Connor Fabian in the hole. A 6-4 lead for the Gems. 2-1 the count on Orlando after a first pitch swing and a miss. Strike one. Back-to-back misses on the outside half against the left-handed hitting Orlando. Swung on and missed. Strike two. 2-2 the count. 1 out. In the top of the 5th. 2-run lead for the Gems. Brian Hathaway sets at the belt. The 2-2. Tipped into the glove. Strike 3. Down goes Orlando. Just the second strikeout of the game for Hathaway. Both of his strikeouts have been against left-handed hitting batters. It's out number 2 in the top of the 5th. That'll bring up Zane Gelfman. Gelfman 2 for 2, the double, a single, and 2 runs scored today for the Storm. Hathaway comes set over the top. Swung on and missed. A changeup from Hathaway over the top. Haven't seen a lot of those. It's an 0-1 count. 2 outs. Fastball. Ball 1 off the outside half of the plate on Gelfman. The 6'5" Brian Hathaway, second tallest player on the team. The 1-1. Miss inside. The man who started game 1 for the Gems, the tallest players, got him by an inch. Cam Walker, 6'6". The 2-1. Just missing off the outside edge. 3-1 the count. Hathaway sets the 3-1. Ripped into right field. Takes a hard hop to Hernandez. This time a true hop as opposed to a crazy hop that Gelfman was able to get in his first at-bat of the game. It was a hit into right field, and Hernandez was lined up to play it on with 1 hop, but it ended up shooting over his right shoulder all the way to the wall, and Gelfman able to advance to second base. It'll bring up Connor Fabian. Fabian 2 for 2 today. A single, he tried to stretch into a double, and a double. Played at 3 runs today. First pitch down low. 1-0 the count. 2 outs. In the top of the 5th, a 2-run lead for the Gems, 6-4 in game 2 of the doubleheader. Hathaway sets the 1-0. Rip to Hermes at second base. Spins around, fires to Walker in time. He stuck with it. The inning ends on a 4-3 put out, just like it started. The Storm strand 1 as we go to the bottom half of the 5th. The Gems on top of the Storm, 6-4. It'll be Hermes, Sinkovich, and Walker when we return.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Holiday Jewelry, family-owned since 1975, setting the standard for quality and service in Klamath Falls community since the beginning. And Klamath Eye Center, your complete eye care center from comprehensive eye exams to surgery and even our optical dispensary. Without these sponsors, nothing is possible. Thank you. The Klamath Falls Gems would like to send their thanks to Russ, Spires & Pooley, LLP, Avista, Herald and News, and Henry's Roofing and Supply for sponsoring the 2016 season. Thank you so much. Taco Bell is proud to support the Klamath Falls Gems. Don't forget to take advantage of the free taco coupon on the back of your Klamath Falls Gems ticket stub. Everyone who comes out to a Klamath Falls Gems game this year can receive a free taco at one of Taco Bell's 2 locations in Klamath Falls. Once again, we'd like to thank Taco Bell for all their support of the Klamath Falls Gems.
Nick Hermes strolling up to the plate to lead off the bottom of the 5th for the Gems. It's a 6-4 lead for Klamath Falls over South Bay. Jeremy Albert on the mound. He came in bottom of the 3rd. Has been pretty effective out on the mound. Ball 1 as Hermes switches over to the left-handed batter's box. The switch hitter now facing up against a righty will hit from the left-handed side. The 1-0. Drive into right center field. Taking a hard hop past the limb into the gap and misplayed by Todd Fitzhugh. He overruns it. Hermes will stroll in to second base and a short-armed throw by Todd Fitzhugh. And bounced into the infield. As Hermes back-to-back doubles. It was just read poorly by Todd Fitzhugh. A leadoff double for Nick Hermes will bring up Colin Sinkovich. Sinkovich 0 for 1, but will walk a run scored. First pitch swung on, foul to the third base side of the backstop. An 0-1 count. Hermes at second base with his lead. Albert goes to the plate as this one is up into the air, foul on the first base side. Takes a hard hop off of the first base pavilion and into the party deck. An 0-2 count. Albert already with a fresh ball waiting for Sinkovich. He comes set below the belt. The 0-2 will miss way outside. Nice backhand stab behind the plate by Oster. Ball 1. Keep that one from running to the backstop and giving Hermes a shot at third base. He moved from second to third on a pass ball in the 3rd before being driven in by James Mensing's 2 RBI single. The 1-2. Again, outside. The throw will go to second base and hop into center field on the short hop throw from Oster. And now Hermes will be at third base on the throwing error. Tried to catch Hermes on the base paths. Oster flung it out to second base. Took a hard hop in front of the bag. Lim couldn't handle it. And now a 2-2 count. This one's ground up the middle off of Albert and goes right to Gelfman, but scoring from third base is Hermes as Albert redirected that one. Not sure if it hit off of his hand or his head, but regardless, he keeps it from going into center field, and it ends up being an RBI ground out for Colin Sinkovich. Now 0 for 2 with a run driven in. And it is a 7-4 lead for the Gems. 1 out in the bottom of the 5th. Mickey Walker is up. He has been aboard twice, scored 2 runs, but doesn't have an at-bat. He's walked twice. And it's ball 1 to him, first pitch of the at-bat. A 1-0. Inside, 2-0 the count. Slight breeze out to right center field. Right fielder Fabian covering the line. Big gap in right center. Ball 3 down low on Walker. A 3-0 count. Has walked in his previous 2 at-bats. Well on his way to walk number 3 as this one is down low. This time a 4-pitch walk. As Walker is aboard for the 3rd time today. It's the first walk for Jeremy Albert. Second base runner of the inning. We'll bring up James Mensing. Mensing dropped a line drive in over the head of Gelfman into left center field, which plated Senkovic and Walker in the 3rd to give the Gems 2-run advantage. Walker breaks to second base. It'll be short hop to the plate. And in easily is Walker, now in scoring position. The double play off the table on ball 1, a 1-0 count. Oster down in the squat. Walker with his lead at second base. The 1-0. Strike 1 fastball down the middle on Mensing. James Mensing, the 5'11", 205-pound redshirt freshman from Minot State. Calls State and Oregon home. This one is fouled off. Strike 2. It's a 1-2 count. 1 out. Nick Hermes led off the inning with a double into right center field. Advanced to third base on an error and was driven in on an RBI ground out by Colin Sinkovich. Fastball runner goes to third, and out at third base is Mickey Walker. And they're heading off. That's a swing and a miss, and a throw out. A strike him out, throw him out to end the inning. As Walker gets caught stealing after swiping second base. Not so much luck on the trip to third. The Gems plate 1. Make it a 7-4 lead as we are through 5 innings. We go to the 6th. It'll be Isaiah Todd Fitzhugh, Connor Martin, and Chase Henley due up.
Klamath Falls Baseball is brought to you with help from Rogue Credit Union. Rogue Credit Union is committed to actively engaging in the communities we serve. Rogue Credit Union, banking and finance since 1956. Living local, it's a Rogue thing. And Quail Park of Klamath Falls, a senior lifestyle community in Klamath Falls, their experienced and caring team of healthcare professionals will treat you and your loved ones like they would treat their own families. Thank you for supporting the Klamath Falls Gems.
Fans, if you own a business and would like your brand to be seen at Kiger Field, give the Gems a call at 541-883-4367 and tell them you would like to discuss the most unique and cost-effective marketing opportunity in the area. Call the Gems at 541-883-GEMS.
Isaiah Todd Fitzhugh will lead things off for the Storm. First pitch, fastball, strike 1. Todd Fitzhugh 0 for 1 today. He was hit by a pitch and a victim of some base running miscommunication in the second. Sidearm delivery. Ball 1. 1-1 the count. Rick Abel not giving a whole lot of leeway on his zone. It's a 1-1 count. Over the top, ripped over to right field and past the dive of Hermes. A full extension dive, not enough to be able to keep that one on the infield, as Todd Fitzhugh has his first hit of the day, a leadoff single. That'll bring up Connor Martin. Martin 1 for 2 today. A line drive, a run scored in the second, then a line out to Hanks to end the top of the third. Check swing foul. 0-1 the count. A 3-run lead for the Gems over the Storm. Martin, the DH, squares up to bunt, and getting a great jump was Todd Fitzhugh as he steals second base, and no throw from Mensing is already 3/4 of the way there was Todd Fitzhugh, and something can only go wrong if you throw it out at that rate. You're not going to gun the guy down, so just give him the base. It's a 1-1 count, fastball high, 2-1 the count, no outs. Todd Fitzhugh in scoring position now for Martin. Up into the air into left field. Brown drifting back, and this one is off the wall in left field. He plays it off of the wall. Hanks will get it. Fire to the plate. And out at the plate! He's gunned down! James Mensing with a great play. Gloves it in. Sticks him out. Hanks drops a dime to the plate. And gunned out at home is Todd Fitzhugh. A laser from shallow left field. A perfect relay. James Mensing with the play of the game thus far. Stood in strong, held on, hard contact at the plate on a perfectly thrown ball. A one-word conversation between Rick Abel and Corey Stratton after first base coach Gutierrez had come and argued the call. Out number one. That'll bring up Chase Henley as Martin doubled to left field. He's in scoring position now for Henley. Strike one. 0-1 the count. 1 out. Henley standing tall in the right-handed batter's box. Up into the air. Foul on the first base side. Strike two. Just two strands of sunshine left. One in center field, one in right. A 0-2 sidearm swung on and missed. Mensing will go up the first baseline, throw that one to Walker after looking Martin back to the bag at second. Complete the strikeout. Out number two, third strikeout of the game for Brian Hathaway. And that'll bring up Reed Oster. Oster 0 for 1 today. He walked and was the first out of an inning-ending 6-4-3 double play hit into by Anthony Lim. First pitch missing from Hathaway. 1-0 the count. Left-handed hitting Oster. Works from the back end of the box. Sidearm delivery a little bit up on the outside half. 2-0 the count. Hathaway working from the stretch, a 2-0 count. 2 outs. Connor Martin at second base as this one is fouled off. Strike one. A 7-4 lead for the Gems over the Storm in Game 2 of the doubleheader. The Storm took Game 1 7-5. Hathaway, the 2-1. Up into the air, into shallow right center field. Lewandowski chases in on it, calls everybody off, and watches it into his glove for out number 3. Isaiah Todd Fitzhugh gunned down at the plate. A perfect relay from Brown to Hanks to Mensing, who holds on through the hard contact and keeps it a 7-4 ball game. We go to the bottom of the 6th. It'll be Hernandez, Brown, and Lewandowski due up for the Gems.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Holiday Jewelry, family owned since 1975, setting the standard for quality and service in Klamath Falls community since the beginning. And Klamath Eye Center, your complete eye care center from comprehensive eye exams to surgery and even our optical dispensary. Without these sponsors, nothing is possible. Thank you. And Klamath Falls Gems would like to send their thanks to Russ, Spires and Pooley, LLP, Avista, Herald and News, and Henry's Roofing and Supply for sponsoring the 2016 season. Thank you so much. Taco Bell is proud to support the Klamath Falls Gems. Don't forget to take advantage of the free taco coupon on the back of your Klamath Falls Gems ticket stub. Everyone who comes out to a Klamath Falls Gems game this year can receive a free taco at one of Taco Bell's 2 locations in Klamath Falls. Once again, we'd like to thank Taco Bell for all their support of the Klamath Falls Gems.
Hector Hernandez will lead things off for the Gems. Hector 1 for 2 today. As this one, first pitch and into center field after a run from Lim. Can't track it down. Softly hit, but muscled out. An inside pitch from Jeremy Albert. Just enough to get out of the speed of Lim, a guy who's seen in every outfield position, so you know he's got wheels. And Hernandez able to get aboard for the second time today. He was caught stealing his first time, but he was caught in a rundown and allowed Mickey Walker to score from third base as runners on the corners, 1 out. Marzell Brown at the plate. Throw over to first base has Hector diving in head first safely, right arm to the bag first. Dominic Orlando covering the bag, the first baseman, a lefty, so a natural sweeping motion right to the base runner. And Brown squares up to bunt, lays it in front of the mound, and Oster will fire to first base in time. Back in safely is Hernandez as he has to dive back in. A quick trigger from Orlando out to Gelfman as Brown sacrifices Hernandez into scoring position. And it was a nice play made by Oster as that was hit just hard enough to be really outside of the natural range of the catcher, but not hard enough to be to the pitcher. So he took over and gunned it over to first and get the speedy Marzell Brown. Lewandowski shows bunt, pulls back, curveball outside. 1-0 the count. A 3-run lead for the Gems over the Storm. 7-4 in the bottom of the 6th. The sun has left the plain surface, now just on the rolling hills that create the Klamath Basin. And now stepping off the mound and sending Hernandez back to second base is Jeremy Albert. Zane Gelfman shadowing right behind Hernandez out on the base paths. Chase Henley at third base playing 2 steps off the grass. The 1-0. A called strike. Well off the plate. 1-1 the count on the lefty Lewandowski. And time was called by Lewandowski. Abel calling time, saying no pitch, no pitch, as Alpert was taking a long time out on the mound. Double taking, triple taking, back at Hernandez. The 1-1 to Lewandowski, and that will be to Kim, off of his body into right field. Turning towards the plate is Hernandez. That will go to the plate, and not in time. Lewandowski slides in safely at second base. And the two speedsters for the Gems. Hernandez goes from second to the plate. Lewandowski ends up at second base, as Lim had that one played off of his body into right field and couldn't get there quick enough. It was cut off. Thrown out to second base, but Lewandowski sliding in safely. It's an 8-4 lead. Fastball down low, gloved by Oster. Hanks, ball one. Hanks has been aboard 3 times today. He's walked, singled, and was hit by a pitch. He scored a run when he got the line drive into left field. Fastball low off the outside edge. 2-0 the count. Jeremy Albert missing down low in the zone against Hanks. The 2-0. Strike called on the outside edge. 2-1 the count. A drive to shortstop. Gelfman can't play it. Lewandowski will go from second to third as he tried to backhand it. He's able to knock it down but not glove it. So a hit into the hole for Hanks. Now runners on the corners. 1 out for Kyle Barrett. Kyle Barrett 0 for 3 today. He reached on a fielder's choice, grounded out to Lim at second base, and then hit a fly ball to Fabian in right. Quick throw over to first base as Hanks back in, standing up. Not a huge lead for Hanks. Double play depth up the middle, as this one will miss outside. 1-0 the count on Kyle Barrett. The 1-0 slowly rolled over to third base, looking over to second base, and beating out. The fielder's choice is Kyle Barrett. Hanks, the out, as Barrett now 0 for 4 today, but has reached base twice on a pair of fielder's choices. Runners on the corners, 2 outs for Nick Hermes. 2 for 2 today with 2 doubles and 2 runs scored, as well as an RBI on a sacrifice fly in his first at bat. Swung on. Tapped foul into the glove of Oster as Barrett broke towards second base. It's an 0-1 count. 2 outs. 1 run across already for the Gems in the bottom of the 6th, trying to add on more. Throw over to first base has Barrett back in. Collision out in front of the bag as Orlando had to come off to retrieve that one. It was up the right field side of the line. Pitch way outside. 1-1 the count. 1-1 count, 2 outs, runners on the corners for the Gems. The pitch called strike 2. Taking on the inside part of the plate is Hermes. An 8-4 lead for the Gems. The 1-2. Hermes lifts up into the air into right center field, and that'll drop in front of Fabing. Scoring from third base is Lewandowski. Barrett hustling to third base as it is now sent in from right field. Fumbling around with it was Fabing. And Nick Hermes now 3 for 3 on the day with 2 RBIs. Lewandowski scores, making it 9-4. Barrett goes from first to third. And runners on the corners, 2 outs for Colin Sinkovich. Up into the air, first base side. Orlando plants out underneath it and collects it for out number 3. 2 runs come across for the Gems. They take the 9-4 lead into the top of the 7th. Due up for the Storm, it'll be Anthony Lim, Latrell Harris, and Dominic Orlando trailing by 5.
Klamath Falls Baseball is brought to you with help from Rogue Credit Union. Rogue Credit Union is committed to actively engaging in the communities we serve. Rogue Credit Union, banking and finance since 1956. Living local, it's a Rogue thing. And Quail Park of Klamath Falls, a senior lifestyle community in Klamath Falls. Their experienced and caring team of healthcare professionals will treat you and your loved ones like they would treat their own families. Thank you for supporting the Klamath Falls Gems.
Fans, if you own a business and would like your brand to be seen at Kiger Field, give the Gems a call at 541-883-4367 and tell them you would like to discuss the most unique and cost-effective marketing opportunity in the area. Call the Gems at 541-883-GEMS.
Daniel Goodell entering the game for Klamath Falls, taking over for Brian Hathaway. Hathaway goes 6 innings, gives up 9 hits, 4 runs, all of which were earned, 3 walks and 3 strikeouts, but leaves with a 5-run lead, 9-4. Anthony Lim will lead things off as Daniel Goodell will make his 14th appearance on the year. He's thrown 20 2/3 innings, giving up 30 hits, 27 runs, 25 of which are earned, 20 walks to 21 strikeouts. First pitch up into the air into left center field, and tracking it down on the run is Dalton Hanks. 1 pitch, 1 out. Down goes Anthony Lim. He is 0 for 3 today after going 1 for 3 in the first game of the doubleheader. 1 for 6 with 1 run scored and an RBI between the 2 games thus far. Latrell Harris, first pitch fastball called strike 1 on the outside edge. 0-1 the count. Harris 0-1 on the day. He drew a pair of walks in his first 2 first 2 plate appearances rather, and then grounded out up high into the air, and this one will hit on the top of the grandstands. 0-2 the count. 1 out. Goodell nods in agreement with Mensing. Begins the windup and the pitch. Bounced in off the outside edge. 1-2 the count. Goodell works initially from the center of the rubber, but then his first real movement of the windup has him over on the first base side. Rose-colored skies off in the distance here in southern Oregon as the night begins to take over. Lights are on here at Kiger. The 1-2 pitch from Goodell. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Down goes Latrell Harris. Out number 2. Strikeout number 1 for Goodell. And that'll bring up Dominic Orlando. 0 for 3 today. He had a line drive to Walker at first base that ended up being a double play, doubling up Harris. He hit a fielder's choice in the third and scored a run. And then struck out in his last at bat. First pitch runs out the outside half against the left-handed hitting Orlando. The 1-0. Strike 1 off the outside edge. Evens the count at 1. A 9-4 lead for the Gems. Trying to split the day. Storm took game 1 of the doubleheader 7-5. The 1-1 pitch. Fastball inside, 2-1 the count, and yet again home plate blending in with the dirt. Rick Abel electing not to brush it off. The 2-1 goes off the outside edge, 3-1 the count. Zane Gelfman is on deck. He's 3 for 3 today. A double, a single, and yet another single. 2 runs scored. The 3-1 pitch from Goodell. And ball 4 called, and a eerily similar location to where the first strike was called in the at-bat, but it's a 2-out walk for Orlando. The first walk of the appearance for Goodell after his first strikeout. And bring up Gelfman. 3 for 3 today, as I mentioned. Went 2 for 4, 2 RBIs and a run scored in game 1 of the doubleheader. Fastball inside, ball 1. A 9-4 lead for the Gems in the top of the 7th. 1 on, 2 outs. This one is shot over to Hanks at shortstop. Plays it off of 2 hops. Fires to first base in time for out number 3. The Gems take game 2, 9-4 in game 2 of the doubleheader. Everyone exchanging high fives out on the mound. Brian Hathaway picks up his second win of the series. He moves to 2-2 on the year. As for Michael Valdez, he will drop to 1-3, his second loss of the season. A 9-4 final score. The Gems defeat the Storm in game 5 of the series. When we come back, we'll have the post-game wrap recapping both games, so stay tuned.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Holiday Jewelry, family-owned since 1975, setting the standard for quality and service in Klamath Falls community since the beginning. And Klamath Eye Center, your complete eye care center, from comprehensive eye exams to surgery and even our optical dispensary. Without these sponsors, nothing is possible. Thank you. The Klamath Falls Gems would like to send their thanks to Russ, Spires and Pooley, LLP, Avista, Herald and News, and Henry's Roofing and Supply for sponsoring the 2016 season. Thank you so much. Taco Bell is proud to support the Klamath Falls Gems. Don't forget to take advantage of the free taco coupon on the back of your Klamath Falls Gems ticket stub. Everyone who comes out to a Klamath Falls Gems game this year can receive a free taco at one of Taco Bell's 2 locations in Klamath Falls. Once again, we'd like to thank Taco Bell for all their support of the Klamath Falls Gems.
Welcome to the Klamath Falls Gems post-game show, presented by Avista, Harbor Isle Tennis and Fitness Club, Henry's Roofing and Supply, Herald and News, Holiday Jewelry, Klamath Eye Center, the Oregon State Lottery, Quail Park of Klamath Falls, Rogue Credit Union, Rust Spires and Pulley LLP, Taco Bell, Super 8, and United Finance. Here's your host, Nick Winstead.
Hello and welcome back into the press box here at Kiger Stadium. The Gems able to take Game 2 of the doubleheader, 9-4 final after dropping Game 1, 7-5. They lost that one in the top of the 7th. 2 runs came across, and after battle back and forth in Game 1, Mickey Walker came in and just didn't quite have it. And 2 runs come across, and that's the difference in that one. The Gems started off that game with a 2-run home run from Kyle Barrett to start off the scoring in the bottom of the first. The Storm back and plate 3 runs in the top of the second to make it a 3-2 lead going into the bottom half of the inning. The Gems answer with a run of their own to knot it up at 3. It would remain 3-3 into the bottom of the 4th, and another 2-run blast from Kyle Barrett, a no-doubter over the left field wall. His 8th home run of the year, tying him for most in a season in Gems history. So 5-3 going into the 5th. Those 2 runs taken back by the Storm in the top of the 5th. It would no scoring until the 7th. As I mentioned, Mickey Walker came into the game and a leadoff walk, a bloop single, a single through the left side, an RBI single, and then the 3 outs. But by that time, the damage had been done. The Gems get 2 runners aboard, but are unable to get anything across. Mickey Walker picks up the loss in what was a Cam Walker start, a Walker-to-Walker effort. No relation between these 2 Walkers. Cam Walker gets the no decision. Mickey Walker moved to 0-2 on the year. Scott Petrosky threw a complete game for the Storm. Went 7 innings, gave up 8 hits, 5 runs, 4 of which were earned. No walks and no strikeouts. Let his defense do the work for him. And in doing so, was able to pick up the win in Game 2 of the doubleheader. Starting things off at 6:36 p.m. It was a back-and-forth affair. The Storm played to the first run of the game. The Gems responded. The Storm go back ahead 2-1 in the top of the second. The Gems played a run of their own, continuing to jockey back and forth in the top of the third. The Storm got 2 runs across on a Connor Fabing double down the right field line to go on top 4-2. Colin Sinkovich got aboard on a walk to 2 runners on. Both Hermes and Sinkovich moved into scoring position. And with Mickey Walker up, he drew his 2nd walk of the day. Now another pass ball allowed Nick Hermes to score. So now a tie game. And James Mensing came to the plate in a full count, lifted a line drive over the head of Zane Gelfman to put the Gems on top, 6-4. And from that moment on, the Gems never looked back. They added one more run in the 5th and 2 in the bottom of the 6th. But the real action of the 6th inning came in the top half of the inning. Isaiah Todd Fitzhugh grounded one through the right side, stole second base, and Connor Martin in a 2-1 count lifted a line drive into left field. Brown got it at the warning track, relayed to Hanks, and Hanks dropped a dime to Mensing at the plate, who held on through hard contact to tag out Todd Fitzhugh at the plate. The play of the game, one of the best plays of the season, as Mensing was able to get himself in good position, not get called for blocking the plate, but still make it a tough play at the plate. He ends up tying out Todd Fitzhugh. Then the Storm would be unable to do anything for the rest of that inning. Those 2 runs coming across in the bottom half of the 6th for the Gems. And then Daniel Goodell comes on in the top of the 7th, gets a pop out, a strikeout, does issue a walk, but then gets a 6-3 ground out to end the game, a 9-4 final. The Storm moved to 20-20 on the year after splitting the day. The Gems 17-24. And the Gems, although their playoff hopes did fall after losing Game 1 of the doubleheader, can still very much play spoiler, try and knock the Storm out of the playoffs, depending on what the Aviators and Bighorns do. The last game of the series is tomorrow, a 2:05 first pitch. You can listen to it right here on Gems Live. I'm Nick Winstead. Until tomorrow, have a fantastic evening.
Thanks for listening to Klamath Falls Gems Baseball, presented by Avista, Harbor Isle Tennis and Fitness Club, Henry's Roofing and Supply, Heraldon News, Holiday Jewelry, Klamath Eye Center, the Oregon State Lottery, Quail Park of Klamath Falls, Rogue Credit Union, Rust, Spires and Pulley LLP, Taco Bell, Super 8,